Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this, folks. This is Dracul, and welcome back. Today we are going to be reviewing J-Star's Victory vs. Plus, the United States English version. This comes out on the 30th, which on the day of release, that is tomorrow. So I'm going to start off saying, subjectively, I personally enjoy this game. It has some issues, which I will go over, but it's really fun. It has a lot of characters, and it makes for a really good potential of get your friends together and you can play with your favorite characters from pretty much any anime. But let's get started. The combat is fairly simple. Comboing is possible. It's a little more complex than most games because it's a little harder to do, and I'll go over why in just a little bit. But every character has 4 basic combo strings. It's 4 squares, 4 triangles, 1 square into a triangle, or 1 triangle into a square. There's not a huge variety of different attacks each character has in terms of just your basic combo strings. Now you can string combos together, but it's really hard to do, because after you finish a combo string, the opponent gets knocked away, knocked down, or into the air, depending on what combo. And some of your characters don't actually have aerial combos. You can jump in the air and you just hit them back down into the ground. And you really don't want them lying on the ground because of invincibility frames, but I'll go over that as well in a second. You can also have 3 special moves that are completely unique to every character, and those are on the circle button. And you have circle, forward circle, and R1 circle, so like, for Naruto, you have the Shadow Clone Jutsu, you have the Rasengan, which you can charge into a Rasen Shuriken, and you have Sage Mode. For Goku, you have like a little teleport hit thing, you have an instant transmission punch, and you have Kamehameha. And you can combo those into your basic combo strings, and you can use those to combo together into more basic combo strings. But the biggest complaint that I have is with the invincibility frames. The second person that gets knocked down, there's a small window that you can use to link into another combo before they enter a 3-second time period where they are completely invincible. And they can start hitting you back, but you can't counter, you can't do anything to them because they're completely invincible. All you can do is block and run away. It makes comboing harder, and it makes timing way more important because you only have a split second when they're laying down before this activates. But it makes blocking, perfect blocking, and during this time, really your only defense, and it really puts a need to learn how to read what they're going to do so you can block them. Because if you do perfect block them during their invincibility time, it actually cancels their invincibility. Let's also take into consideration that there are a ton of characters, and because of all the different levels of power that some of these characters are, I mean, you have the police officer, I cannot remember what anime he's from, but his name is Ryo, I'm sorry, and he's just a police officer. He puts together models. But then you have Goku. And so they took some of these characters, and they're not at the top power from the end of their respective anime. For example, Goku only goes Super Saiyan 1. Whereas some of your other characters, like you have Naruto, and he has the full 9-tailed Sage form, where he's basically both in Sage mode and 9-tails chakra mode, and he has the long cape, which is during the very end. He only has 1 form higher than that during the actual anime. But even though this is the case, they are fairly balanced. There's not like a huge difference in power. You could use Gon from Hunter x Hunter, and you can fight against Ryo, and you would still like be able to put up a fight against the two of them. Would put up a fight against each other, even though they're obviously on 2 completely different levels of power. And then you also have this game does support 3 versus 3. And technically 4 versus 4 if you do have a support character, but the 4th character only comes in for like 1 attack or 1 combo, depending on how you have them set up. And then they disappear, and then you have a little timer that counts down. And it's usually about 30 seconds before you can use them again. You can also do 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2. And it, like I said earlier, it does have local co-op on Ps3 and Ps4. But it does not. But they do not have cross-play compatibility with the Vita. You can do remote play on the PS4, but you can't cross-play. You can't, like, someone with the PS4 can't play with someone with the Vita, and I found that disappointing. To move on to actual campaign, the story mode, it's called J Adventure. It's kind of lackluster. There's not a lot. It's long. Ish. It took me. There's 4 campaigns. I played through 1 of them, and it took me probably 6 hours to beat the campaign, doing all the side stuff, exploring everything. It took me about 6 hours, and there's 4 of them, but they're not good. You travel around the world of just like random mash locales from different anime. But it's on like this overworld map where you're on a boat and you sail to these different, basically different islands that are from different anime, and you meet different characters, but it's all text-based. There's not really there's no cutscenes, there's no models. You get like the carbon sprite that is generic to that character. You don't even get like different emotions or anything. That's just basically just one sprite for each character, unless it's a main character, and then you might have them in a different pose depending on what they're saying or if they're getting ready to fight. And then it's all text, and you sail around on this boat, and that's it. There's not really anything to it. And the story is kind of meh. There's a lot of things where it's like they know that they're from anime, or it's like, this isn't Weekly Shonen Jump or whatever, and like it's very making fun of itself at the same time, but it has a lot of the parts are very poorly translated as well, and that takes away from the entirety of the story, because like seeing a lot of it's poorly translated, you might not carry the same message that it would have carried before, or it's not as funny as it was. But you do have to play through it 4 times in order to beat everything, and with as drolling as that became, playing through it 4 times it's just not as fun. Every time you play through it, you do play as a different set of characters, but overall it's the same thing. To conclude this, the game is great to play as a squad game with either your friends or with other people online. And also, it's great to have like the ultimate anime character showdown. The combo system can be a little underwhelming, but the team play makes up for it because you do have team combos. My own biggest complaint, like I said before, is in terms of battling, is the invincibility frames. In terms of everything else, the story mode is kind of falls flat. The arcade mode, though, I will say, is pretty fun. You pick a character, you play through, and you fight a bunch of different characters that it picks for you. But it's no different than any other arcade mode from any other fighting game. But overall, I would say that if you have been looking forward to this game, that is probably what you were expecting. It's not the best fighter, but it's definitely not the worst. It is very balanced, and it has a huge roster. There's a lot of characters, and they pretty much all have some sort of transformation or some sort of thing that lets you change their skills. And there is a small customization option to it, and you get basically you put coins into this little machine in the game, and you get a card that you can equip up to, like, I think it's 8 cards that you can equip, and each card gives like a bonus to attack or defense, or just different things for different characters, or it gives you a boost to your ultimate attacks or your special attacks, or it makes your taunt do different things, and it just gives you a slight customization to your actual gameplay. But overall, it is a good game, and I would recommend it if you are a big fan of anime, or you have been looking forward to this game coming out. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.